Being Gen Z can be crazy. Balancing life and the pressure of social media. Worry not. We've been there, we are there, or we will get there. It's Gen Z Central on Hot 87.7.
Exactly how your radio should be sounding on a Saturday afternoon. You tuned into the coolest chill spot, Gen Z Central on Hot 87.7. We are 3 weeks into the month of April during one of Zambia's longest breaks called the 4-day Easter holiday. And I'm your host, Kasunde Wellington, running you through the next 1 hour. Well, it's 14 to 15 hours. And of course, I am never alone. It is me, it is George, it is Candice, it is Shabir. I was about to say Esther. I don't know why I was about to say Esther. Shabir, and it is Namwila. Now, this week, and it being an Easter weekend, we kind of thought of bringing in a little bit of empathy into the conversation. We will engage in a conversation centered around personal reflection, and the question being, how many relationships have you lost due to lack of empathy or sympathy? Quite a mouthful, but we'll break it down. Remember, you can be interactive with us by joining in via our social media platforms, Hot FM across the board, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, and wherever else. But you can also listen to us on DSTV and GoTV and Radio Box and Radio Garden, or call in 0974-870-877 when we open the phone lines. This is Gen Z Central. What's up, my people?
What's up?
Hi, Candice.
Hey, Welly.
How are you?
How are you?
I've been sleeping.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the weather has been so conducive for sleep.
Wow.
Yesterday I left, and I love to layer up. Yesterday I left home, and the moment I just stepped out, I said, I need another jersey. like this is not the juice to wear. Like it's chilly outside. I need something else. But you know what? People online have kept the beef going. It might be cold in Zambia, but the beef is hot online.
Always hot. China and America. What's going on with those two? Like, I feel like Trump is just dominating everything that America has connections with. He's trying to get rid of everything like that. So China and America have been having fights over multiple things, but the one that I have gotten most information out of is the China America, let me say, brands and corporations, companies, luxury companies like Adidas, the Birkins, everything like that. The Chinese are saying that they have been supplying America with those things, and all they have to do is just put their brand name on it, and they make it so overpriced when it's actually so cheap in China.
So true. And anybody who's gone to China or does buying goods from China will tell you there's grades to this. They say there's grade A, grade B, grade C, and then mapeza mkamwa like I'm then grade chani jano magula. But now the story is, because Trump slapped tariffs on everything that's being imported into America, the Chinese are also like, okay, we're also going to slap tariffs on things that you're importing from America to China. And if you really go around the room, and not just clothing, everything, there's something from China.
Yeah.
Like there's something from China, whether it's your phone, your TV, whatever it may be. So the conversation here is that manufacturers who make these products are saying, look, if you're looking for a shoe like that, it might not have the label, but the same quality, and you can find it for far much cheaper. And I think people lost their minds because a Birkin will cost almost $100,000, but the Chinese are manufacturing them for $2,000, and the gold label written Hermes is what makes it $100K.
And they said, we're making it for $5.
Right?
Okay.
I will order.
People have been on social media scrolling, wanting to find suppliers. I mean, Shabia, she even said that I want to start a business.
That is so true. So you can find a manufacturer for anything.
But then coming to think of it, it's not only affecting China and America, it's affecting everybody. Be it those people that actually supply. Let's say I get my stuff from China to here, and I'm selling to you, Shabir, and you found a supply, you stop buying from me, so now you're affecting my business as well, So yeah, it might be all fun and games, like, oh, we all have suppliers, but at the same time we're destroying businesses that are actually existing in Zambia.
If you're getting something for $5 and you're selling it to me for 1,000, shame on you. much I'm cutting you off. Like as a supplier, I'm cutting you off. What is that?
I think
Profits.
It's profiting.
That's normal even in the Zambian space. You will find these some of these boutiques will get something from Salaola for like even 100 kwacha. Then they'll chisa it and they'll do everything properly. And then the same 100 kwacha, you'll find that that thing is being sold at 2 pin.
But that's value addition. You've washed it, you've ironed
Exactly.
it.
Not watch that
Not that
order.
you just got it from Candice.
The
You
shipping cost.
put
Should I
it
break
in
it
George
down for you?
Designs, and then you make it 10. No, guys, that way.
Value
Ella,
guys.
especially in the Zambian community, they actually just price things according to the way they see your profile. They don't actually put prices, most of them. And one of the vendors was actually like, oh, we actually do this because we want to see how much you can afford. So first of all, before we answer your question, we stock you a bit and then we give you the price that we want to give you.
So how much is a Hermes bag since they've stocked you for you?
I've never asked you.
Where there's a waiting list for 4 years to get an Hermes,
Okay.
by the way. 4 years. Even after getting that $500,000, you can't afford it. You wait for 4 years to get the bag.
One.
Now,
It will be worth more as time goes on.
yes, it does that actually. It's worth way more when you buy
It's a
it.
brand, Shabi. It's like a house. It doesn't devalue or land, basically. But yeah.
Oh man, these things. Okay, the other trend of the day is the Cyber Crimes Bill. It's now an act of parliament in Zambia and they have included 9 sections. I'm just going to go through it and I'm going to tell you people what's an offense and how long you'll be in jail for it. So it's an offense to access someone's phone or computer. That's 5 years just to access my computer. Eloy in Nizambo Kuchta. Nizambo Kuchta reports because Mugazi get up on my phone pang. And it's also an offense to delete or modify, obstruct or someone's data. So for that you also get 5 years. It's an offense to communicate critical information to someone not authorized. 15 years. So now it's a crime to talk too much. Stop spreading false information.
Screenshots are a crime.
Screen recording just to
Stop.
brag about something.
Yes. It's an offense to possess critical information, even if you are not spreading it, as long as you have it.
We'll be meeting
15
in
years.
person now. We'll be meeting in
We
person
have
to
coffee. Let's
discuss.
just go
Candice, I want to tell you about Wellington, but let's meet in person.
And it's also an offense to record private conversations, even if you are part of the conversation. So like if, for example, we're having a secret conversation and I'm recording, even if nikamba na ine ningo kamba kwa source, nienda kom jail 2 years.
2 years.
2 years you're gonna serve. And it's an offense to publish information which is misleading. 2 years as well. When you receive summons or police call outs for cyber crimes, it's an offense to disclose that. So once you receive something, just go there, attend to the situation and try to get yourself out of it. Otherwise you're going to get 5 years. It's an offense to be rude, indecent or vulgar with intent to humiliate someone.
Mr. Zimba.
So that's
I
2
think
years.
that one is applicable. That one is applicable. Like, yes.
Mr. Zimba won't be arrested. He's not in the country, guys. When he comes back, they shall take him. It's an act of domestic terrorism to attempt to incite ethnic divisions among the people of the republic. Imprisonment for life.
But that's very ambiguous,
I
though.
know. That's what I'm saying. I want to see how far we will go with these laws that we are putting down, because knowing Zambia,
Almost everyone has broken a law at this point.
Yes. We're all criminals.
like I screenshot something from Wellington Scene and send it to Candice. It's an offense.
It's an offense. 2 years, wait.
I think the biggest concern that's come in is how that freedoms of expression and freedoms of speech, as well as investigative journalism, have come under threat. Because for investigative journalism, the other party that you're investigating doesn't necessarily know that you're investigating them. And we're in spaces in this country where investigative journalism is just being, brewed now at this point. So meaning, even as it is growing, it's just about to die. Somewhere like before the 2021 general elections, we did see the UPND government, specifically the president, mention how that they are not going to implement this bill because it was going to infringe on freedoms of assembly and so on and so forth. But then come 2025, it's been implemented. The same law that was bad during PF's time is now good during the UPND time. And the main concern is the ambiguity of it all. Like, there are so many things that you can't like put a nail on, but you can be arrested for. You know what I mean? So it's really worrisome, especially on those freedoms.
And especially that ethnic clause at the end. I think ethnicity is a delicate topic when not ethnicity, like tribalism and the like. I feel like that's what it ties into. Becomes a critical topic when we attach politics to it. Like, other than that, nobody brings it up. But once you think of nepotism, politics, favoritism, corruption, then your tribe, your language, where you come from it matters. So now it's like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to make the situation worse? Are you trying to make the situation volatile? But on that national level, I think there's a little bit of a nationality we need to bring into the conversation, right?
Yeah, you are listening to Nationality by Jay, Trigger and Ari, knowing that he calls himself Zambia's next big thing. We'll see if he's indeed Zambia's next.
Is your maps
big
aware?
Thing. He's got a competition and he's Gen Z.
No.
I like her vibe, she like me too. I'm feeling her, she feel me too. My baby girl, my baby boo, one of a kind. What shall we do, my vanilla? Make I take you Zanzibar. Girl too sweet like sugar. Make I chop you like dinner. Oh, my vanilla. Make I take you Zanzibar. Girl too sweet like sugar. Make I chop you like dinner. Girl, I like your vibe, like your personality. Tell me what you want, I can buy you anything. Show you around the world, I can take you overseas. Tell me where you're from, what's your nationality? Girl, I like your vibe, like your personality. Tell me what you want, I can buy you anything. Show you around the world, I can take you overseas. Tell me where you're from, what's your nationality? Speak to me, baby. I've been one for your love so long. See me number one, be your favorite. Listen to my voice when I say I'm changing. Need your company. Come on, baby girl, get back for me. Bad man show so sexually. Come on, baby girl, get back for me. Oh, my vanilla. Make I take you Zanzibar. Girl too sweet like sugar. Make I chop you like dinner. Girl, I like your vibe, like your personality. Tell me what you want, I can buy you anything. Show you around the world, I can take you overseas. Tell me where you're from, what's your nationality? Girl, I like your vibe, like your personality. Tell me what you want, I can buy you anything. Show you around the world, I can take you overseas. Tell me where you're from, what's your nationality? Girl, I like your vibe, like your personality.
Feel the heat. The station that speaks your mind. No filters, no fakes, just pure fire with top tier presenters. Hot FM at 20. The heat is on.
This is Gen Z Central.
The heat is on Hot 87.7. 20 years in the game. Sirelo Tayamba. We've been doing this for quite a long time. We're about to do 1 year at Hot FM, guys. Very soon, we're about to do our 1 year at Hot FM. Well, not the show, but us being like Sachabula and the like. Okay. Yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm also excited about the class that's starting. I can't wait to see, feel what those guys are gonna do.
What the new voices.
They're walking in our shadow.
I'm not excited.
Excited?
You just text Pizzy or Ketura, they're like, oh no, you're not our babies anymore. Like,
it's always that. It's always like, guys, just attend to my question.
I know.
Just attend to my question. Anyway, Pizzy Ketura, we'll see.
They're not empathetic.
They're not empathetic.
They're not empathetic for real.
Empathetic.
Put yourselves in our shoes.
We get into our little banter before the main conversation. Do you ever feel like you lost a relationship, George, because you weren't empathetic? or you didn't show sympathy towards that person. Maybe they were having a hard time, maybe something happened and then they became distant and you were like, or those weren't the circumstances. But do you ever feel like you've lost a friendship, relationship, ships in general because you didn't show empathy?
I don't think I've lost a relationship because of one or the other. I think when I lose a relationship or when friends leave my space, it's usually on mutual grounds and or understanding. So I'm yet to hear from you guys because it's like a new playing field for me. I'm quite an empathetic and sympathetic human being. So I'm yet to learn more, and yeah, I guess that.
Nangai Weshabia.
In a guy's first niganize katofu.
Yeah,
Really?
it's something that you have to think of, honestly. Because personally, I wouldn't say I have lost relationships because I personally lacked empathy, but I feel like the other party didn't really understand me. We didn't come to a common ground. Why you?
What was happening? It's very ambiguous.
Well,
Like the
you
cyber
like
laws.
this.
No, like the cyber laws.
You
It's very
like to
ambiguous.
get
What?
everything
I want to
out.
hear because Namwila is an open book. So read page 1. What happened?
So in chapter 2, I'll just give you the snippet of it at the end, right? I feel like when you're talking about empathy and sympathy, you're branching off to a fact that you have to also incorporate communication. And if I communicate my feelings to you and for some reason you're feeling like I'm too much, like I don't understand what you're talking about, like at the end of the day I'm just going to step back because you're not helping me or you're not helping the situation. So I had a friend, we were like buddies, like good friends, and then knowing me, if a situation happens, you have to come to me, you communicate, you tell me, oh hi, I didn't like how you did this and whatever, and then I change, you know what I mean? From nowhere, the girl, she didn't think of my feelings, she didn't see what we built. We've been friends for a long while. You just want to throw our friendship over the bus because you just failed to tell me, Namwila, you did this wrong. She came very sassy and said, oh no, the problem with you is that you don't understand. Like, for you to come and tell me like that, tell me exactly what I did.
Not what off you've heard.
Yes.
Or
And she had a problem of listening to what people say. So like, come tell me what I did, and then we come to a common ground and understand. But I couldn't try, I couldn't keep trying. Maybe even me, I lacked no sympathy for what she was feeling at that point. I just said, those are your problems.
True.
just lack of communication.
But before you come in, Namwi, just give us a new term. You threw the friendship over the bus. Which one is over the bus?
Over the bus?
Which you just over the bus. The bus is there, and you just forget it. That's the relationship.
I remember you were saying Gen Z and the English. It's like
This one is just Namwila's English.
No, over the bus in Imambeka, guys.
I come with my own terms here, guys. I'm not about to,
Okay.
I think for me, I'm like George. I really don't have or haven't lost any relationship or friendships due to lack of empathy or sympathy. No, I haven't. And most of my friends or the people that I meet actually do have sympathy. Yeah, so
okay.
No.
But I also feel like our experiences with friendships at the moment, I think across the board, are still quite limited because we have the luxury of saying we have our lives ahead of us. Like we are looking forward to something, unlike people that not giving us any empathy anymore. Pizi Katura. But I want to say I almost lost a friendship because I lacked the empathy or the sympathy to understand. And I'm about to say this, and I know people will agree that yes, going to your problem, but in situations or in relationships,
Yes.
Even before you say
this, oh God, in relationships I tend to be more of the hearer than the giver of personal information. Relationships are built off experiences. So me, I will know everything about you, but you will know little to nothing about me, and I'm okay with that. Like when we talk, when you converse, I want to know about your mom, your dad, what happened that year. Like I want to hate your grandmother because you hate your grandmother. I'm that type of friend. And so the person texted me, and funny enough, it was a guy, and he said, hey, I realized that every time we speak, it's always me speaking, and it feels like I'm going to therapy. It doesn't feel like a friendship. I barely know anything about you. I don't like it, and hence I'm leaving. I was like, oh, this is interesting that you not only vocalize but also say what the solution is. You're not just going to ghost me or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, I think I hear what you're saying. I will work on it. And we kind of met in the middle with that.
Yeah, I feel like I connect. After I heard what Namwila said, I just realized that I've lost a lot of friends just because of that. Most of the friends that I have who literally just say everything out loud. Hey, what, I didn't feel good about what happened, whatever. But you're not specifying what exactly happened. That's the thing. And for me, it's like you've given up on the friendship already. So who am I to start fighting for it? As in, like, because I'm going to be the only one fighting. You are just against it. And most of the times, it's like, once you break that communication with that friend, they link up with the other friend that doesn't like you as well. It becomes a whole circle.
It's a community.
And I wanted to say, sorry, I know we have to get into the main conversation, but George, this doesn't happen in male friendships, if I'm not mistaken. Like, female friendships end worse than male friendships.
Yeah, it does. For the gents, we screw up, we talk about it, and we move on.
Sometimes you don't even talk about it.
I was about to say that. I don't think you guys even talk about it. Just like, this happened, so...
I don't know, but I may be attacked for this, but to a great extent, ladies are much more emotional. And when they attach emotion towards somebody that they like, or maybe their friend, and so on and so forth, considering the fact also that they're heavy gossipers, you'll find that their relationships mostly end because they were gossiping about somebody, or maybe it's because of a boy, or maybe just a small misunderstanding, and then they now hate each other, they hate their families, and so on and so forth. For the gents, you did me wrong. Say you chowed my girl. I chowed your girl. Yes, man. Okay, cool. It's on.
Don't want to show your feelings, but me.
No, I know a couple of best friends who are still friends.
Yeah.
Because that happened, the friend. But oh my gosh, we get into the main conversation, and I think we'll conclude after this whether females or males have more empathy, because it's kind of easier to tell for females to express emotion, but I think men understand their emotions better. So empathy is feeling with someone. When somebody is feeling sad, you are there with them. When someone is feeling happy, you're there with them. You step into their shoes, you try to understand their emotions, and you connect with that experience. That's empathy. So you're able to either vibrate up or vibrate down to where they are. But sympathy is feeling for someone. You have this feeling because she's happy, you have a proud feeling. Because she's sad, you feel terrible for her. So it's a feeling that you're having based off the environment around. You acknowledge their pain or situation, but from a distance, and you don't necessarily feel it yourself. It's that thing whereby you hear, oh, they lost their mom, but it's like a long distance, and you're like, oh, that's sad. Losing a mom is sad. But if they lost their mom and then it's your cousin, you have the attachment of your aunt gone, but also seeing your cousin through that pain gives you empathy to kind of be there. So empathy is, I've been there, I'm here with you. And then sympathy is like, that's really tough, I'm praying for you.
I haven't been there, but I understand.
I understand. Yeah. Like, I understand, I see what you're going through. So those are the two aspects of empathy and sympathy.
Yeah, and when we get to the question of having the lack of empathy or sympathy destroy meaningful relationships, I think it definitely can, because when people don't make an effort to actually understand how others feel, it can lead to misunderstandings or judgments, like Namila and Shabir said, because I'm just gonna end our friendship or relationship based off what I've heard, and I don't want to actually approach you and understand to say, okay, Namila, you're going through this and I understand.
Based off that, and also we've kind of established that empathy comes with experience. Do you think Gen Zs don't have an empathy less generation because we lack the experience?
Yeah.
Or empathy is like how you say she's a bubbly person, he's a stern person, he's nonchalant. Is it a character trait or is it a generational thing?
I think Gen Z majorly empathy is expressed online.
Really?
Yeah, I'll say this because I have seen, especially like in this generation that we're in, for most, it's very easy for them to express themselves online and somebody say, oh my gosh, sorry, or maybe even over a phone call. But then when it's in person, it's like these people don't even know what to do.
But is that true empathy then?
That the online empathy
Do you think it's true empathy?
Might be true, but then even more so, remember, we're human beings, so that means we have to have interpersonal communication, interpersonal connections away from just the phone. So it begs the question, what if the phones did not exist? Would you then be empathetic to somebody who just lost their mother? How would you react?
Is it just good manners is what you're saying? Like, it's just like, it's just this, okay.
I don't think Gen Zs, they are taught to be nonchalant. They're taught to be, you have to be strong. Don't show emotion. Don't, like, if you show emotion, you're so weak. I feel
Isn't
like
that millennials?
No. Gen Zs actually are taught to be nonchalant. And most of my, no offense, but most of my friends, even if me and Shabir have wronged each other, I still like Shabir so much. Even if she's passing, I can't say hi to her because like my pride is at that level where I can't do. Now, for example, right, there was once the neighbor had lost like I think a sister or something, and my mom was like, those are your age mates, telling my brothers, those are your age mates, ka? Checking in My brothers are like, why should we get crash a funeral that we don't know? You get my point? But then she goes like, but you guys, these are in your community. Whether you don't know them or you know them, go check on them.
So it's not an experience thing. It's a cultural thing. Like the Gen Z culture itself just don't have empathy.
They don't.
And I think being online ties into us not having empathy because, like I said, it's easy to say good morning, how you doing on a text. But there was a point where I never used to say good morning to my immediate supervisor. So I would just go like, this is what I need. This is what I'm doing. And then one day I read it because now you can edit messages on WhatsApp, right? I read it and I read everything else that I've been saying in the chat. And I edited it and I said, good morning, hope you're doing good. And then I left that part the way it was. And he said, don't greet me, I know how you are. And I was like, oh,
you've been feeling bad about it.
Oh, so this is what has been going on. So I think online or the online experience has made us lose that empathetic side. Don't you think so?
I feel like people actually do have empathy, but they just can't express it as well because they lack understanding of how to express it. As she said, the Gen Zs are normally told, don't show your feelings, just what. So even if you offend me in public here, I'll just be tough, I'll just be seated still. I won't even show that it's hurt me or anything like that. But deep down, it's hurting me and I'm just going to cover it. And deep down, the other person who's hurt me knows they've hurt me, but they're not going to say sorry still. They'll just keep it to themselves. So like this type of people these days in this setup, they lack the way to show empathy, but they do feel it and they do feel the pain and everything.
Well, like for me, once I had this friend, she's still my friend, but then at some point she's still my friend.
Maybe.
Yeah, she's still my friend.
I'm frozen here.
We live together, but whatever.
No, she's still my friend. Like we used to do almost everything together, go to the gym, go for school and stuff like that, But then one day we just woke up and she's there like giving me a cold shoulder. She's like, no, I'm not riding with you, like getting on the same Uber or anything like that. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
leave the girl.
What's wrong with you? So I was
getting on the same ride.
An Uber? Okay, a boat?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
so,
a yacht.
So she's like, no, I'm not coming with you, I'm not doing whatever. I'm like, okay, something is definitely wrong. And I said, okay, let me give her some space. Okay, going on with the day, next day, same attitude and stuff like that. I said, okay, no, there's definitely something happening, maybe because she's having exam stress or work or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll give her space, but let me ask. So I asked her, I said, what's going on with you? And she says, can you just leave me alone? I'm like, okay. But then us Gen Zs, I feel like, oh, you want me to leave you alone? I'll leave you alone, but somewhere else again I'll go and say, she's acting up, like why is she behaving like this? But I thought about it, I'm like, no, she should be going through something else. So I asked her again, I said on another day, I said, I just want to know, why have you changed your attitude and all that? And then she's like, we're not about to do therapy. The same thing you said. So that's why I immediately nodded my head and said, oh, okay, I can relate. So she said, we're not doing therapy here. I said, girl, if you want me to leave it, I'm gonna leave it. But then again, I thought about it. I said, no, I need to really find out because she's my friend. So I went for the last time, and then I asked, I said, look, I don't care what you're gonna tell me, but I just need to know what's going on. And then she said, okay, fine, my parents are having a problem and I'm in the middle. So I didn't even advise her because I can't relate. I can't relate. So I didn't advise her. I'm just there to keep quiet and listen. And she poured out how she felt. And we got back. Like, everything was now cool and she felt better. So I think
And then at the end of the day, she starts hating you because Candice is not understanding that I'm going through something. Like, why does she maybe like...
No, but we were cool after that.
No, like before. Before in the process, she's hating you because this girl, she doesn't understand that I'm going through something. Like, you haven't told me about it. How am I supposed to know?
I think the worst part about an experience such as this, it ties into you don't speak, but you expect people to understand you and be empathetic with the fact that you're going through something. Bro, you've pushed me away 17 times and yet you're upset that I don't understand what you're going through when you haven't expressed yourself. I think it goes both ways. Pour out, tell me what you're going through so that I can either give you advice or maybe give you a hug or maybe give you a pat on the back or maybe buy you ice cream or something like that. That works.
Just be there to listen. If not, just let me know, hey, I'm going through something for now and I'm not ready to share, and then I'll know, okay, and
then
at
I don't
least
have to push. Yes. I don't have to exert force without it.
And I've been there.
True. But do you know who wasn't there and who didn't have empathy? Who, Namwila?
Judas.
That is carrot.
That's why
that
Jesus
carrot.
was what?
That carrot.
That's the carrot.
No, that carrot.
Jesus knew. He even said,
but
one of
Judas
you
didn't have empathy.
Betrayed me.
He didn't.
My problem, Judas.
Let's hear what Yo Maps and Afunika were trying to say when they named this song Judas.
This is not me, not me makamaka pa weekend inda kwataka mumulu awena feel bad feel kwa titawa ukwa icho watisana pena chimona kwa titawa ukwa nayo mafeeling yentwala kuona ina katwishina tokitire na isanga peni chibira na mukamu Jesu alangani tsora ina shipo ya mukamwine umutima na bibi vile twala
This
Gen Z Central on Hot 87.7.
Is the coolest radio show on Hot FM because we don't have any other competition. So the coolest radio show on radio, basically. As Hot 10's 20, Gen Z Central is super excited to bring you conversations after conversations every single weekend at 14 hours. And remember, you're part of the conversation, so we want you to be here. We want you to call in 0974 870 877 0974 870 877. Did you ever lose a friendship because you didn't have empathy or sympathy? Let me know. Let us know by calling in because the phone lines are now open. Now, empathy might sound like a big word, or it is a big word, but I think our parents have been practicing and doing it for quite some time. And I find it so weird that in a generation where we have words for everything, like emotional intelligence, intellectual intelligence, we are unable to really put these things to practice because our parents didn't have the word emotional intelligence, but I believe generations before were top notch when it came to emotional intelligence.
Right. We've talked so much about empathy and sympathy, but we need to understand what empathy and sympathy really comes with. You need to understand who you are, understand your emotions before you can even sympathize or empathize with someone. That's where the idea and the aspect of emotional intelligence comes. Now, I hear a lot of us say, personally, even I do say, I'm a very emotional intelligent person. Everybody, even Shabia, who's 18 years old, says she's emotional
intelligent.
And I think I go 18 years old.
I've been through a lot of people you don't know.
For 18 years.
I pass up any lily apa. Smooth one I've never behind. But
don't look back. Look forward.
You can do it.
Yeah, there are so many. We talk about emotional intelligence a lot, but we do not understand what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence comes with tolerance. It's not just understanding your emotions, but understanding someone else's emotions. That's where the aspect of sympathy and empathy comes into play. You know, it's having to learn how to navigate your sensitivity, because I mean, if your sensitivity brings so much reactivity, I'm stepping out. You know what I mean? So when you understand the type of person you are, you understand the level of emotional intelligence that you carry and the person that you're dealing with, then you'll be able to navigate a situation in the way it's supposed to be navigated.
True. I want to say with the idea of understanding your emotions, we're in a very self-generation.
Yes.
Self-love, self-care, selfish, self-centered, self-accommodating, self. And I feel like there was a point where the world was very selfless, and it got to a point where like, wait, no, you need to take care of yourself. Like, how's your mental health? Don't be. And the thing about the world is we never just reach balance. We always go to the extreme. Yeah. Like in our aim to do self-love, we became self-centered and self-absorbed, and that's why empathy is hard, because empathy has nothing to do with self. It has everything to do with the other person. I believe we're very sympathetic. Like, anybody can drive through Kamwala in the night and look at those kids who are sleeping and be like, oh my God, that's so sad.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, oh, anyway, my young was taking me to, wherever he's taking me to, and the sympathy stays there. But empathetic people will go out of their way to try and make a difference. Like Dora Mono, who had no business going to that Mapapa village, but she found the need and she said, you know what, my empathy is going to take me there to do something. And so because we're so self-centered, I find it very hard personally, and I think it's a general observation, for us to consider what or how other people are feeling.
And we all call out Judas for selling out Jesus for to small coins. Yet we all do the same to each other. But the funny thing is that we're not doing it to Jesus. We're doing it to Wellington. But Wellington has Jesus in him. Oh, guys, I'm about to preach because it's Easter. We're getting ready for Sunday.
We're going to have our first lady, Namwila. Why did the laughter come in 2 seconds later?
You processed the joke after it has already passed.
No, I got the joke a long time ago, but my laughter lagged. You know what I mean?
Maona, Gen Z last.
I don't. At this point, I don't even think I'm Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Oh my goodness. 0974-870-877. 0974-870-877. What do you have to say about our conversation today? And also, if you'd like to let us know how we can be more empathetic or sympathetic, call in.
That's right. So, how to be more empathetic and or sympathetic? Number one, you have a circle of people. Of course, empathy doesn't go so well, especially with people you don't know. Imagine somebody is on the bus and then they just cry to say, "Oh, I just lost my mother," and then you are there at the back seat. "Oh my gosh, let me give you a hug." That might not always go so well. Sorry, my condolences, because you don't necessarily know the person. That would be really good. But we do have a call. Hello, you are through to Gen Z Central on Hot 87.7 FM. Okay, we just lost the call, but being empathetic goes so well with people you have a relationship with. You know what I mean? Somebody who won't feel weird when you tell them that they're gonna get through things. We have a caller. Hello, good afternoon. You're through to Gen Z Central. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can you get me clearly?
Yes, we can. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Joshua calling you from Kawata.
Joshua from Kawata. Okay, Joshua, let us know your thoughts on empathy and sympathy.
Well, my 2 cents is this. I feel it's not even a Gen Z problem. Each generation, as it comes down, loses a bit of what the other generation had. If you remember, our grandparents were big on funerals. They would never hear a funeral in the community and not go there. Our parents changed that slightly. Now they would go to funerals of people they actually associate with in communities. When we millennials came in, again, we would only go to funerals that a friend or a relative is dead. So as you see, as it comes down, it begins to become a problem. So it's not necessarily a Gen Z problem. Even the millennials had their own issues.
All right.
With Gen Zs, I feel it's not really a problem with empathy. Look, social media has made us become so insensitive because we have an information overload. Think about it. While you're telling me your mother just died, on my phone I'm seeing a 50-year-old man impregnant door. So information passes so quickly. We get the next thing and move on to the next thing before we could even digest the information that's just been given.
All right.
So
thank you very much for calling.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to give you a ticket before you cut the call. We're going to give you a ticket from Levy Cinemas, and you are listening in any case. We're going to give you a ticket that is you and your +1 to go and watch a movie at Levy Cinemas. And Candice, you had something that you wanted to touch on before I continue.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do agree with this caller. One thing that used to irritate me was if maybe Namwila has lost an aunt, God forbid, and then I post Namwila's aunt there, and then I'm like, my condolences and stuff like that. After that, I post me joking, playing and whatever. Like,
make it make sense. Like, I thought you were in a season of, solemn and the like.
Yeah, but we do have another call. Hello, good afternoon. You're through to Gen Z Central. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Ian from within Saka.
All right, Ian, please go ahead with your comment.
Go ahead, Ian. We can hear you.
Oh yeah, he went ahead.
Yeah, he just said bye. He just said bye. But Joshua said something that made me. There was a thought that came up, and I thought it was so good, and I thought I was going to be so smart when I said it. But he said. Forgotten what I wanted to say.
Where he was talking about, I like the fact that he talked about our grandparents went overboard, even if the person that they're going to mourn is not their relative.
They don't even know them.
But I can only go to Shabia's funeral if I hear her sister, her mother, or the father. If the uncle has gone, I still see my Uncle James.
Family.
We have a call. You are through to Gen Z Central. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, and how are you?
Good, thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm calling you from Chalala. I'm Chitalu.
Okay, Chitalu, please go ahead.
Yes. Being empathetic. Okay. So sometimes you find that people go overboard in the name of being empathetic and everything. You find that you go to a funeral, people are there taking pictures of the deceased body and putting it on their status. I'm like, okay, how far should you go? Yeah, so sometimes I think this, I wouldn't say this generation, but everybody else, like, you find that not just the Gen Zs, even the older people now have found this fun with phones, and it's just out of this world. So being empathetic, sometimes especially at this point for me, it's just pretense. I would rather you just leave me alone, keep quiet, let me mourn in my time, and yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, Chitalu. We're going to give you a +1 ticket to Levy Cinemas to go and watch a movie. So just go there and tell them Gen Z Central sent you between Monday and Thursday.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You can still call in on the number
0974-870-877. I appreciate what Chitalu says to say it, and I want to ask this. You who's on WhatsApp, who's sharing, the funeral or whatever, who are your followers? What's your following? What are you influencing?
You want to show that, okay, I was there for this person.
But that doesn't make any sense, because grief is quite a personal thing. I think let's listen to our last person on the line today.
Hello, your name and where you're calling us from? You're through to Gen Z Central on Hot FM.
Yeah, my name's Brighton and I'm calling you from Chalala.
All right, Chalala in the building once again. Brighton, do go ahead.
Yeah, so I heard a point about, people helping out only people that they know. But at the end of the day, I think we have to be, sympathetic with everybody, regardless of knowing them or not. Because I think how we know people it starts from a clean state, And then also about the socials, it does really contribute a lot in terms of people's mindsets. There's this thing about brain rot and everything. There's a lot happening down the line for people to actually look in the mirror and have that reality check. And then it's like we're just blinded by this delusion where we feel comfortable enough to be in our own space and not be willing to give a helping hand willingly. And then the other people who they try to help, but it's just for sure. You know what I mean? So I think if you want to really help somebody out, it has to come from, a really genuine part of you.
Thank you very much for calling, Brighton. We're going to give you a +1 ticket to go and watch a movie at Levy Cinemas. Congratulations and thank you very much for calling.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, rounding it all up, speaking of all things movies, Sinners is showing. That is from the successful director Ryan Coogler, the one who directed the Black Panther movies. Each one of those movies was a 10 out of 10. This one is actually also receiving an over 90% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like a 10 out of 10 movie. So be sure to watch Sinners. It features Michael B. Jordan, Hailey Stanfield, and so many other A+ actors. Also, movie showing, especially during this Easter, The King of Kings. There's a Jesus animation that is currently showing, Kesari Chapter 2, and a whole lot more. Go down to Levy Cinemas and you can get yourself these movies. Also, if you want to call in and win yourself a ticket, every single Saturday during Gen Z Central, you can call in and win yourself a ticket. Now, closing it off on the previous point that I had, being sympathetic goes so well with people that you know. Being empathetic goes so well with everybody, as long as it's somebody within your vicinity, within your space. I gave an example of the public bus. Somebody just lost their parent. You can tell them, oh, my condolences, I'm sorry, I hope you and the family get through. You get what I mean? But then it's going to be different when you just jump in and give them a hug and then you begin consoling them. They will punch you in the throat because
well, maybe not the throat, but I like thoughts keep coming and popping.
No, please go ahead.
The idea of being in a public space, we don't spend a lot of time in public as Gen Zs, or as a generation. We're getting less and less public gatherings and more on ourselves. And I think that's why even empathy is hard, because you're so in your face. Today, I was on a bus, and then the mother sitting next to me had a kid, and the kid was crying. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so disturbing. Like, it's disturbing me. And then while I was thinking about this, I was like, but what about this little kid who's in a very loud moving bus? their mother is trying to, maybe they're not comfortable. So I'm like, what about that? I'm just thinking about myself. Like, oh, this is so inconveniencing. Like, I'm going somewhere and this kid keeps on crying. And then like, no, this kid is now like going to an adult world. Maybe they're going to a hospital. All of these things that we fail to think of because we're so self-centered. I hope we can walk away and try to do better by understanding everybody else. We're wrapping up the show. Thank you so much to everybody who called in. Thank you so much to you guys for constantly sharing your very unique point of views. We'll be back next week Saturday, because we will be back next week Saturday. Ketura PZ, listen to this. We will be back
next week
Saturday.
Every Saturday
after that.
From
14 to 15.
And after us is Nono's Dada with some old school hits. But here's something new school. Ada Lele, DJ Maforisa, and Kabza the Small. Have a lovely weekend.
Happy Easter.
Angivisa buhlungu Lendlela umphethe ngayo uvusa balele I'm sorry my baby ngicela uxolo Ngikuxolele my baby you didn't mean it I'm sorry, my baby. I'm so sorry now. My baby, you didn't mean it. This I turned up now. I said I miss you, I really miss you. So sorry, I'm sorry, my baby. My baby, you didn't mean it. This I turned up now. I'm sorry, my baby. I'm so sorry now. My baby, you didn't mean it. This I turned up now. Sabalele, sabalele.
The station that speaks your mind. No filters, no fakes, just pure fire with top tier presenters. Hot FM at 20.
The heat is on.